Welcome to today's collective reading. Begin with clearing with the kyanite and the selenite to align the energies and elevate them, that only the messages of the highest and greatest good may come through today for the collective tuning in. Does my collective have on their minds today? What do they need to know? What is the overarching theme? Thief of Peace. This is number 33, which can break into a 6. It's also a mastery number. You have mastered, or you're in the process of mastering. Taking in all this blocky, chunky information that is designed to really distract you, to trigger you, and allowing it to move through you. Allow all of you present to assist you with this. All of those that came before you, all those that you are currently manifesting, co-creating with, even if you don't know each other in the physical, you have a lot of energies in the spiritual. You have a soul collective that you're connecting with, even if you don't know them in this reality as, by name and where they work. You are connected. You are working together. You're helping one another. And it's all gearing towards that future. And you're processing a lot of this for those individuals as well, to help them so they can overcome the challenges, because you've found some of those answers for yourself. They can access those answers through you, through this connection. It's also available in the Akashic record. So you're helping many different beings through many different dimensions and timelines by doing this healing work with yourself, so that you can allow this to move through you and it not take you along with it. Okay, place that there for now. This is the overarching theme. Okay. Do we want to continue with what we need to know with this deck, Spirit? Okay. All right. So what is guidance for what's on the minds, what's weighing on the minds of the collective tuning in? What guidance is, okay, you want me to go with the top one? You are the judge of everything that comes into your awareness. You can decide to go along with the emotion. And it may be very, very hard to resist. It may be. But ultimately, you'll come to a space where you decide if this is something you want to continue or not. And then you allow the divine to respond to that, to echo that, to co-create that way for that judgment to be something that can come to fruition, can manifest. So what do we have for layered down synchronicity, deeper meaning? Okay, not this deck yet. Got it. Okay. This is going to be more of the receptive aspect to future self, higher self. Additional guidance. Things to maybe give your mind a moment to ponder. Decide as the judge whether or not you choose to give to this or not. The Two of Wands. This is a path that you have chosen. And every single time you are at that moment where you are to judge a thought, a feeling, emotion within yourself, whether it's in response to something going on outside of you or in response to something happening within you, you choose a path to empower, to will into being because of any number of reasons, but predominantly because you seek love, you seek truth, you want to be happy. So you follow those feelings, trusting that this is the path that the divine has prepared for you in response to the judgment you have passed upon the choice before you as to which path, which decision will bring you to that happiness. You feel the divine within that path, the truth within it. Being the judge of your own reality and choosing to take the blue pill or the red pill is available to everyone. And when you choose to awaken, you will find yourself at these crossroads, these moments where you get to be that judge. But you're doing this with faith that on the other side of this threshold, this path that you choose, that you didn't walk alone the whole time. You were always hand in hand, in spirit with the divine. All right, now let's grab one from the higher self, from a more of a assertive side to this. Because this is being receptive to every decision that you make, you are making with your higher self, with the divine. That intuition, that knowledge, that awareness of the truth, of the love, of the higher vibe, the good feel within that path over the other is there because the divine is literally showing you the way to what you both know is your heart's truest desire. Now these, I can't flip them very well with my fingers. They're very sticky. So, all right, and we have the Sun. Ooh. Okay, so this particular card, it to me is here because you're choosing not to give to doubt. You're choosing not to give to what you know will make you unhappy. And any kind of hesitation within this, like any kind of hesitation within this, you trump it. You go, you know what? No. False evidence appearing real, I'm not empowering that. No matter how seductive it may be, to get angry, to be hurt, to be upset, you may need a moment to acknowledge what's coming through. This chunky, triggery energy, you may need just a moment to be like, oh, that's what that is. But then you refocus to what you know is truth. You don't own the falsity of it. You refocus to that truth. Okay. Do we have any more specific synchronicities here? Okay, so it's, yeah, it's you're choosing to walk towards what makes you happy and leaving behind what does not. Why empower what makes you miserable? There may be illusion around it. It's very possible that there could be some illusionary aspect to it. But you are moving towards that. You're always moving towards that. It's just another validation. And you're transmuting what doesn't, which is, yet again here, you're not choosing the path that you know doesn't resonate to the highest possible level for you. It doesn't feel right, true, expanding. And that's because you've gone within. You've done the subconscious work. And if you do find yourself a little wrapped up in something, you're more than willing, because you know how to. You go within. You look at what is causing you to hesitate between what you know does not bring you happiness and what does. Okay. All right, so what do we need to know, if we need to know anything about the aspect here that is illusionary, triggering? Okay. Oh. Okay. So it leads you to think that there is somehow more financial abundance down that path. Remember, it's illusionary. There's too much fear and doubt present within it for it to be the true Ten of Pentacles, because you're drawn to the path that leads you towards the actual truth, towards love, towards truth. And it may be somewhat of a leap of faith, but following your instinct of what is true and what is real and what is love, it leads somewhere where it's not just going to be a Ten of Pentacles. Let's put it that way. There's also a possibly a masculine that knows what they want here and is very confident that they're going to get exactly what they want. As it pertains to the sun, these two cards, this inverted sun, as it pertains to this would be saying that you have two paths. One path leads to obvious love, light. Your instincts lead you there. Your intuition, your connection with spirit, with source. This is an illusion of abundance. And there's a more of a toxic, assertive energy here that wants what they want regardless of what you want or need. That's one way of reading these. The other part, the other way of looking at this that's come through is to not read it as this is receptive, this is masculine, you know, to look at it as a whole, where this literally trumps the fear. The truth overcomes the fear. You're moving towards what brings you happiness, allowing what once was to be alchemized and changed into its current, truer form in the present now. You're willing to go within and truly examine why you're choosing this path, what it is that you actually want, because you do want that abundance. You want like the whole thing. And if you look in this card, yeah, it's about Pentacle. It's about 3D abundance, physical reality abundance, but there is love between these two. There is love between the grandfather, you know, implied, the grandfather and the baby here, the grandchild. There is a spark of mystery, magic being shared through the generations. And you have this golden retriever, this, you know, the family dog. It's a little, this happiness, this furry happiness, right? You know, that huge house on the hill in the background, and plenty of land, plenty of lawn. Oh my goodness, mowing that. Jeez. Regardless, though, this is not just about money. It's experiencing love in this physical reality. And it's because not only do you know exactly what you want, but there is an assertive energy that knows as well. This energy can definitely be within you. You're actively asserting what you choose. You're not just receptive to receiving it and receptive to moving towards it. You are actively saying yes, no, good, bad, desire, don't desire, want, don't want. This is like the next layer down of that position. Okay, so what do we need to know? What guidance do we have about the emotional? It's on the mind and the heart. We have the Goddess of Grace. And it's interesting that it sits right below the Thief of Peace. And this is 33330. So this is manifested. The 369, keys to the universe, kind of a thing, as Nikola Tesla spoke to. You're connected to all of the petals of the lotus that makes up your being throughout time and space. You're connected fully to that aspect of yourself. Whether this is what you would call the Akashic, anything that you need to know, any assistance that you could possibly need or desire to get through whatever's coming, whatever you're encountering, whatever you're passing judgment on, deciding between left, right. You know, do I make a right turn here or do I make a U-turn? You know, whatever you're deciding between, you've demonstrated, you've mastered this part of you that even though you may be cutting ties or saying, I'm not going that direction and I'm never going to go that direction and I never want that direction to be an option again, you're also owning an aspect of compassion with it as well when you do this. Such as, you know, you can know that somebody is not for you, but you can love them anyway. You can have friends that you used to have, that you used to hang out with, and you have good memories with, but you know that they're actually not good for the life that you want to move into. The lifestyle, the morals, the ethics, the habits, that they're not really going to help you create the life that you want to lead, because they're going to possibly pull you back into old habits, old ways of being. So even though you're leaving that consistent connection, that consistent spending time with that aspect, you're not leaving it with hatred. You're leaving it with, no, but I'm going to have fond memories, or, you know, like that kind of a back and forth. It's not either it's all sword or all cup. Both. And how do you balance them? You've mastered this partially because you are not only connected to all of self, you're connected to the Trinity of the divine. The fates, if you will, too. It's also a symbol of that, the fates. So you're aware that there is a divine hand in your life and that it is guiding you, even at this level. All right. Okay, so we have Ace of Wands for the more receptive aspect to the higher self-guidance. What do we have for the more masculine, the active? In this, I'm hearing it's the challenge. This is the challenge. This is the, are you sure that this is this? Okay, we have the Five of Seers. Okay. So you have arrived. That's what I'm hearing. You've arrived, you're noticed. You have been working towards this. And now that you're showing the way and others are following you as you illuminate this path, the divine, because you've mastered this, the divine is putting you in somewhat of a protective spotlight. You may be in the spotlight, but you are very protected. That does not mean you're not going to be challenged, though, because you still have a path before you to learn, to grow, to achieve, to alchemize and grow on. So you're going to need challenge. This is not, you're in a pillar of light on the couch taking a nap. You know, you're on a path and you're going somewhere and you're dressed for travel and it doesn't look so welcoming around you, but you have this pillar of light, of protection. And you can trust that whatever challenges come, which like here, this is the card of being out in the cold. Now there's going to be a specific meaning to it. The challenge is possibly, how do you leave yourself out in the cold? How do you be yourself while being in this mastery state and not lose yourself to all of the lotus or the fates or the divine? How do you be yourself in this space? Okay, upright is, ooh, interesting. See, this deck surprises me. Apparently, it is highlighting that you're protected from a debt or an illness. In this mastering of this, and this pillar of light coming down and protecting, you're protected from financial debt, physical abundance, debt, and any kind of illness. I really get the feeling that there was some very negative energy coming towards you, knowing that this is what you were doing, that you were learning, that you were mastering, and that it intended, if you were not, you know, able to do this balancing, that you would have possibly been dealing with some physical repercussions in your own being or in your environment. Yeah, it's not going to be specific to, it implies within and without there would be some kind of a consequence, some kind of a negative for not maintaining both connection to the compassion and love, as well as being assertive in not owning or allowing or setting boundaries like you would with a sword. So because you stayed balanced, that negative impact that could have occurred if you had not remained balanced, you are protected from. Okay. We have a couple clarifiers here for this position to go like still a couple layers down, possibly some more synchronized messages to come through for the collective. Definitely, you know, if it resonates, great. If it doesn't, that's fine. It may be worthwhile evaluating whether or not, if it did, how would you feel? It's a learning thing. Anything that is present here is worthwhile examining, even if it doesn't apply to you directly. All right, so this is the universe is co-creating with you. If the universe was not co-creating with you, A, the magician would not have shown up. B, there would not be a second ring here. There would only be one. It would be just that coming from the magician. There wouldn't be a coming back. So it's like sending out, coming back, sending out, coming back. There wouldn't be a coming back. It would just be ascending. There wouldn't be the other hand. There wouldn't be any light coming back to it. We have the Seven of Wands inverted. Okay. This is interesting. Very, very interesting. So the Seven of Wands, because you are the magician and you co-create with the universe, anything that comes out here that's inverted, you could upright. But you are invited to answer the question of whether or not this is true for you. And if it is, that answer, that judgment allows you to co-create, allows the divine to go, oh, okay, all right. So that's not what you want. Okay, how do we achieve that? Okay. So the Seven of Wands, typically this one tells me that you're protected, you're elevated. All of these other wands that want to take or influence or like literally they want to somehow project or take from your energy and use it how they desire it to be used. This typically would tell me that you're above that because your personal power has elevated you. Your will has elevated you. In the inverted, is this what you're experiencing? Because if it's not what you're experiencing, what can you do? Why? Why is this what you're experiencing? How can you move different? How can you acknowledge what is getting to you and change how you react to it? This is the constant learning and mastering of this. This has been the process of working with the divine to master this. You did not master this without help. You had a lot of help from the divine, from your higher self. If ever you are feeling, this is the other way of looking at it, and it's poignant because sometimes at this point, you have experienced a lot of this possibly. And now you're truly here. But when you do feel, say, tired or moody or depressed, are you going to immediately label it? Are you going to put it in the same category as this chunky, manipulative energy coming in to kind of like rock your boat a little bit? Or is it simply maybe, maybe you had something to eat. Maybe you need to look at your vitamin balances. Maybe there's a supplement you could take. Maybe there's a routine adjustment that could really support you not feeling so tired all the time. Maybe it's not this influence. And it's a hesitation. It asks you to hesitate before you label it that, when really it's something very muchly within your ability to adjust and effectively elevate yet again beyond it. So don't immediately jump to the energetic, spiritual, intuitive as the default go-to answer for why you feel moody or tired or whatever the typical symptom has been for you. Well, you're mastering this. You're at that point now where it's not that. It's not that anymore. More than likely, it is something very muchly within your control to adjust in your environment because you're in this state, in the spiritual, in the intuitive and energetic. If it is feeling like this, it's not necessarily going to be this anymore. Because you have a very protective energy present that knows what they want. You have the King of Wands that's come out twice here. This King of Wands, not only am I getting like you're the Strength card, not only does their lion think that you're their catnip, their lion is backing the decision, is the ally, is present, but is allowing the higher mind to direct. This is the King of Wands is willing to burn down every bit of physical reality abundance because they know that you're the key to actual abundance, and that physical reality abundance comes with having their queen at their side. Their throne is just a tiara. It's just a physical object. The true abundance is not something that's found in the physical reality. The physical reality moves as a response to the abundance that comes from the higher realms, the spiritual, the love. The sharing of that light is the new currency. And they understand this. And they know what they want. I see a mala on his wrist too. He may be doing quite a bit of praying, this masculine energy. This could be a female too. I'm just saying masculine because it is a male form, but you know, it's really all about energy. This is an assertive energy, a masculine assertive energy. It could be an assertive female in masculine assertive energy. The Lover's inverted. Okay, so the Lover's inverted. This is a major arcana. This is not something that is up to free will. Are you receptive to this connection is simply what this position is. Are you receptive to this masculine assertive energy? To being protected? To the point of where when you feel similar to how you did when this blocky, chunky, emotional, triggery energy would hit you, you're not going to be ascribing it to that anymore when you have those kinds of things coming in because you're that protected. If you're literally tired now, and that was the typical symptom, it's because of something in your environment, your routine. It's not because of this spiritual connection anymore. You're that protected. Are you receptive to that? That's the only reason it's inverted. It's a question. Are you receptive to this protection? Are you open to living in a new layer of contrast? There's so much contradictory symbolism here from, you know, the colors, the textures, the dynamic, but there is a Merkaba symbol between their foreheads. Their connection is elevated and protected. It is just theirs. There is no other energy present because they are divine beings creating that. And they know what they want, and they have this Trinity. They're acknowledging that they're divine beings. So with this new layer of contrast, are you willing to fall in love with the concept that you are protected? That it's not going to be this struggle? Are you willing to move beyond this? Because it is possible to become addicted to suffering. You're so used to it. You don't know how to do any other dance now. So how do I do this dance? Are you willing to figure that out, to answer that? Are you receptive to it? It's the only reason why they come. Oh, and then I have the sun on the bottom of the deck. I was just turning it over to put it away because this is what awaits you. This is the result. Are you receptive to knowing that if anything feels off, it has nothing to do with your ability? You get to be in the state of thinking about it like you were never aware of this ability, the spiritual connection. to the divine to be able to manifest to this extent. I'm so excited for you guys. This is like the next step. This is the next challenge right now. Is it okay? So now that everything's okay, how do I get over the default answer being and allow myself to own that it's possibly an actually healthier answer that I can very muchly address? Okay. So in the physical, we have two, the storyteller. So what is your story with this? How are you going to write it? How are you going to label it? This or that? You determine that. How do you choose to do that? All right, so, ooh, wow, okay, all right. So we have the sun again. So that's the happiness. Being able to pass that light on to the next generation, all that wisdom, all that knowledge in the physical. You could definitely be a parent, and you're looking to be that for that child that you love, that is such a part of you. You want to give them everything, every possible advantage you can. This could also be your inner self, your inner child. Allowing that inner child to come out and play while you write this story, and you choose to see that positive. You choose to empower it. There's also, I'm not quite sure about the little kid here that could, the child could be a male or a female, but the individual here is an adult masculine form. So this you are actively choosing as you write your story. You're assertively choosing to feed the light. It's been a consistent theme throughout this reading. So in the emotional, that may be a bit of a challenge, but you're stepping up to the plate to instead go, okay, I'm being messed with somehow, being triggered by something coming in to alchemize, and it can now move through you and it doesn't affect you. So, because you're protected, so now you can focus your energy on, all right, well, I could do this or that to adjust that. So now I'm giving my focus to, how am I narrating my own story? Okay, we have the 8 of Cups inverted. This is the challenge. This is the question. And it's inverted to boot. Now, if you really look at this image, and I'll flip it up right for you guys, this form is trying to rapidly move forward as quickly as possible. I have like the Olympic runners, that kind of a thing, but they're on water. They're on emotion. They're doing what they can to move through this emotion as fast as possible. But it's inverted. Okay. So, are you taking time to really sit with the emotions? Are you taking the time to process it so that it doesn't actually cause you to slip? All right, well, let me see what this deck can surprise me. So let's see what it has to say here. All right, so it's the 8. Denial and attempts at bargaining for something now worthless. Ooh. So when you write your story in the physical, as you move through how this is all coming down into your reality, are you denying what no longer serves you and telling yourself that it does? And are you giving to that? Or are you trying to still give to something that it's needed to be let go? so that you can fully embody this. Possible, like, not having a hard time letting go of things because you wanted them to work, but they don't work. And, you know, like that phrase of, you know, God, if you do this, I will do this. Like, if that has occurred to you in this, it's definitely an invitation to look into that. Let's see what they have at the layer down. That could give me an idea, because there's so many different energies here. What's the best? Okay, yep. So we have Star in the upright, Justice inverted. Oh, it's very, okay. How do you choose to look at it? It's like, even the voice, like, that came through. How do you choose to look at it? Your eyes wide open, or are they wide shut? Are you telling yourself they're wide open, but they're shut? Because you can open them. You're connected to the universe. Your heart is listening. And you're firmly also grounded with Gaia. You follow these earbuds. The other end is plugged into Gaia. The universe is listening to your heart and Gaia through your heart. You are the star. You're capable of being that tree trunk to the tree that connects the leaves and the branches to the roots. You are that. So how do you choose to look at it? With eyes wide open to the truth, or are they wide shut? Are you not willing to see it for what it is because you want it to be this, but really it's this? It's so poignant, because we've had the sun in this reading here on the bottom of the deck earlier, and yeah, the sun here with this card. So do you want it to be the sun upright, or are you in denial and something that is actually the sun inverted you're redressing as though it's this, but it's really not? If you're having to make a bargain with the divine for it to be a certain way, like, if you do this, then I will do that. You know, there's a phrase, it's called making a deal with the devil. Like, is it really the divine then that you're pulling on? Is it truly elevated? That is what your question is here when you're writing the story of your life. Are you going to paint it as though you had a bargain with the devil to get where you are? Are you going to paint it as though you had challenges that you overcame? You consistently chose love and light. Even when you got in your own way, you were helped through that. You were helped to see your truth. You were helped to open your eyes. And there is a thing where you can see, like there's blind people. Oh, there's a famous author, and I know her name, and I can't think of it right now. But she basically felt that she was here to help people see. People that had actual sight, to see. Just because you can't see with your eyes, like, say you can't see auras, that's just not your thing, or you don't physically with your eyes see spirits. That doesn't mean you don't know they're not there. That doesn't mean you don't pick up on things that others don't. Just like someone who does not have the gift of sight to see the world around them with their eyes, they're going to have more honed senses elsewhere that others don't pick up on. So they have a really full appreciation of the other senses. They have a fuller appreciation. Are you going to write your story as though you stopped to smell the roses, or as though you rushed on by to get to what was on the other side of the rose bush? Why did the chicken cross the road? Just went through my head. Spirit, you have a good sense of humor. Like maybe the divine wants to like lighten things up a bit here, but why did the chicken cross the road? Came through. Oh, to get to the other side. Like a Frogger kind of deal. Oh, jeez. I hope that's a synchronicity for someone, because I don't know. Okay, and then we have the inverted King of Cups. How are you, or are you not, giving to love? And is this really the world that you want? Do you want the world to be one where you never gave to love because it was safer to stay on the rock? Or do you want it to be a world full of abundance, life, memories, connections, rich in emotion, even though you're firmly grounded? How do you want to write your story? Because the divine will help you write it however you desire. If you only think that you are worthy of X or Y or Z, the divine can't give you everything that the divine knows you're worthy of. So what are the limits you put on yourself? That is very muchly the guidance, the hesitation, the question, the challenge of your physical reality in this moment is, how do you limit yourself? And how limitless are you willing to be? Because you have the ability to be limitless. You've done the work to be able to manifest stopping and smelling the roses in your life. Enjoying the things that others rush on by because they haven't done this. They haven't had the opportunity, the ability, the soul calling, the guidance to stop and smell the roses. Now, it's going to apply to things that are far more complex than smelling the rose. Say you're running late for work, but you know, your kid or your partner, like there's something a little like intense about how they're moving, and you can kind of pick up on that something's going on. Do you stop to ask them what's going on and be damned with being late for work because they matter more? And they know that that's what you're doing in that moment, that you're putting them first, and the love and the appreciation that grows between the two of you, reaffirming that connection because they matter more. And that's a more heavy way of putting it. A positive one could be, maybe there's something nice you do for somebody every day. Or, you know, whenever they're in a certain mood. Maybe like they're sick and you make them a soup or something. And you take care of them, right? Do you acknowledge in that moment that what you're doing is so loving and caring and beautiful? Do you take that moment when you have so many other things going on? Because let's face it, if you're like a couple or a parent, or you have like a kid that is like, you know, a teenager, and if you're sick, they'll kind of help out a little bit, or, you know, vice versa. You kind of help one another, because that's how families work. You work together. That moment to take, even though there's so much pressure on you, to savor that moment. you are cared for, you are nurtured, you are appreciated? Do you stop to give yourself that moment? That's a far more complicated way of acknowledging the smelling of the rose versus rushing by. Do you acknowledge the little things and appreciate them? Because the little things are what you miss the most. When your kid graduates and goes to college and is no longer living at home, you'll find yourself reminiscing about when they were kids. Those moments when they were teenagers. It's the little things that stick with you. Because the little things you don't have to do, you choose to. You choose to. And that will be what's in your story. So what do you choose to give those little things, those little moments, those little attentions to? To something that is no longer, or do you choose to give it to what is now and what is coming, what you are creating? Are you living in the past or are you living in the present? You get to have this story now because you've done this. So what do you want? Sky's the limit. Okay, in closing, because that was definitely a channeling there for you guys. Being that I'm not, coming out of a deep meditation or in a more comfortable position, a little more lucid sounding and awake and aware. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We have be proud of yourself. Last quarter moon in Taurus. Very, very stubborn forward motion to create this beautiful vista. This lush green vista. Also this protection. I don't know if you guys know crystals very, very well, but this particular image down here by my thumb, it reminds me quite a bit of labradorite. Quite a bit of labradorite. So that could be a synchronicity for some to maybe check out getting some labradorite. Labradorite is a very grounding and very strong psychic protection crystal stone. You'll feel it the moment you touch it. You'll know. And then we have honor your feelings. First quarter moon in Pisces. Be proud of yourself and honor your feelings. It's how you hold on to yourself throughout all of this. Become aware of what is you and what is not you is a very big part of this mastering here. The wisdom to know to feel what you feel so you can move. You can let it go. You can empower it. You can pass judgment on it as to how to categorize it, where to place it. And then we have new moon in Cancer, which I feel like this is here. You get to relax and tell your story, write your story. So be proud, honor your feelings, and relax. We have an overarching one here to go with this mastering of this thief of peace. Your peace cannot be stolen now. Not unless you decide to, I don't know, not sleep for a week or go on a fast that's, a couple days long, unless you physically rock your own boat. Okay. Yep. So it's focus on the positive. Overarching is to focus on the positive. Not the thief part of this title. Not the thief. Not this blocky, chunky, dark, light, gloomy. The peace. The 33, the mastery. Focusing on that positive. The good memories, the reminiscing, the good memories, what you're choosing to create, not necessarily what you're currently experiencing. It's a new moon. This is the new cycle, a new beginning. And Sagittarius always hits her mark. Or his mark. Their mark. I think it's technically a centaur, so... Oh, yeah, and the typical images, yeah, it's true. Okay, I'm like having a convo with Spirit here. You guys are getting half of it. But yeah, wherever you aim, as long as you're focusing on the positive, you'll find your way to your arrow. Even if it had some weird detours along the way, you'll find it. Stay focused on the positive. And peace will be yours. So, all right. Thank you very much for tuning into today's reading. I'm very grateful. The divine within me honors the divine within you. Namaste.